What's going on, guys? Damon Tay here again with Caffeine and Cash Practices, and today we're talking about a topic that I see running rampant within the healthcare industry, but also in particular the physical therapy profession, which is my profession, and that is, how do you get back to loving being a physical therapist again, loving being a clinician again? So many of us, when we graduate, we get that diploma, and we're like, man, I'm gonna change the world. I'm gonna set the profession on fire. I have all these things I wanna do and all these, changes I wanna make. And eventually you get into the real kind of work environment, into a busy clinic, and it just starts to beat you down. And it beats you down, and you see 30 patients in a day. You're working at a high volume clinic. It's all about relative value units and how many billable hours you have or billable units you have per provider, and you've got all this documentation, and it takes you hours to do all these questionnaires and documentation, and eventually you're sitting there and you're asking yourself, man, what the hell? Did I make the right decision? Am I going to continue this for the rest of my life? Am I going to be a physical therapist for the rest of my life, or am I going to hang it up and go do something else? And frankly, you've lost your love for the profession. You've lost your love for a profession that is one of the more personally rewarding professions that's out there. In my opinion, I think it is just such a nice balance of being able to have direct patient interactions, be able to really help people get back to things that they really enjoy, but also not necessarily have to work swing schedules and 24-hour shifts like my brother does and his wife, who are in emergency medicine, and they are working very different schedules and legitimately, doing different types of patient care, but it's less of a sustainable career, in my opinion, than what we have, which is great because we can work a 9 to 5 and still have balance in our life and to some degree, but still the volume and the documentation, it'll wear you down. So when I see this happen, obviously for me, a lot of what we help people with is start their own practice. I don't think that's the right move for everybody. Some people, they should not be entrepreneurs. Actually, many people should not be entrepreneurs. It's a difficult life. There's risk associated with it. You need to be somebody that wants a challenge and a lot of opportunity to change, and it's not the right fit for everyone, but it might be. And I'll kind of get into that in a second, but that doesn't have to be the answer for people to get back to really enjoying being a physical therapist again. Some of it might just literally be a change of setting. So here's what I'll start with. So number one, you have to decide what you want to be the best in the world at. Who do you want to be the best in the world at working with? Let's say you're working in a clinic and you decide, you know what? I want to be the best in the world at working with ACL patients. People that are coming off of ACL surgeries, getting them back to, 100% back to sport, fully rehab, not just partially, and return to sport, right? And you start diving into all of the research and the new evidence and all of the best continuing education that's out there for ACL specific injuries. That right there will help you alleviate some of this frustration, some of the burnout you're feeling, and some of the jadedness that you might have from the redundancy of your day of just working with the same types of patients over and over and over again. It's like Groundhog's Day sometimes in the clinic, but you might really look forward to that one ACL patient you have, that one youth athlete that comes in and you're like, man, little Timmy's coming in today, can't wait to work with him, and you're all excited. You spend your lunch break trying to build out what progressions you have for him, and you want to take him through. That's energy you're getting back from work that you love to do. That is one way to combat this loss of your love for the profession, this burnout that you feel, that can help you really enjoy what you're doing again by focusing on becoming great at something. The momentum that you're gaining from that is really big. That's one. The next thing would be find mentorship in that area. If you're learning all these things on your own, that's the first place to start. The second place would be find mentorship. Find mentorship either by going to work at a facility where this is something that they specialize in, or pay for it. Find somebody who has an ACL mentorship that's going to help you go through curriculum and upgrade your continuing education in that area through direct mentorship with somebody that can shortcut it for you and show you exactly what you should be doing, exactly what you shouldn't be doing, and they're going to piece that together for you much faster. It's very normal for us within the clinical world to find clinical mentors. And some of that comes from where you're located. You can always get a job at another clinic if you have a clinical mentor that you find that you would love to learn from. try to get a job there and apprentice under that person. This idea of like apprenticeship sounds so old school, but apprenticeship is basically just learning on the job with somebody that is a couple steps ahead of where you're at, and they're where you're trying to end up. That's huge. It's the fastest way to get better at something. So try to find someone that you can work with. And if you can't do that, then pay for mentorship so that you can actually accelerate your ability to get better in that area and really focus on outcomes in that area. So number one, learn as much as you can there. Number two, find a mentor. Now, the last step is to try to find a clinic where they allow you to really focus on this niche that you love to work with. So this is where we see a lot of people that end up hitting a fork in the road and having to decide what to do. You go to your clinic and you say, hey, I really want to work with ACL patients. I think we could do a better job of getting more of them in here. And you decide you want to try to go what we consider the intrapreneurship route, meaning you're somewhat entrepreneurial within the structure of another business where you can sort of own your own area, develop your own book of business and work with the people that you really want to work with. Maybe not 100%, but a big portion of your caseload could be what you're trying to become really good at. Now, if you have a clinic owner that's like, heck yeah, I'm all about it. How can we support you? That's awesome. That's something that you want to look for. They're going to support you. They're going to help you really win in the niche that you want to be world class at. Sadly, a lot of what we tend to see is clinic owners that are like, nope, this is how we do things. You either do it this way or you can go find a job somewhere else. And that is the common mentality that we see with clinic owners. And you know, they have their reasons for that, right? Like they're not trying to add complexity to their business. They want to keep things the way that work for them. Maybe they've been burned with things in the past and it's hard to say. But either way, this is where we see this fork in the road develop. Either A, you have somebody that's like, I'm all about it. Let's let you grow in this area. Let's let you thrive. B, nope, that's not how we do it here. You're going to have to just focus on the people that we have. This is what pays the bills, and do that on your own time or learn that on your own time. That's probably not a clinic you're going to want to stay at too long because you're going to get real frustrated. You're going to get real burnt out. And I had a mentor tell me one time, if you can't find the job of your dreams, you're going to have to create it. And for a lot of you, as you go down this path of gaining momentum through learning, through trying to become world class, the best in the world at working with a specific niche, you're going to get frustrated in clinics that don't allow you to have a say over what you're doing and some entrepreneurship elements to what you're doing and your caseload and making that as specific to the niche that you love to work with. And then you're going to have to decide, do I stay here and be miserable and slowly, lose my love for the profession until I'm just a cynical, old clinician that we've all met, that's jaded and is like, can't do it that way. Just settle down, kid. I hear this. I've heard this advice. It's like, you got to chill out, man. Like, you just got to sit back, do your job, and then go home. Don't try to change things. Don't try to improve things. Like, that's advice that a lot of people give out. And I think that they give that advice because at some point in time, they probably were like you. And whatever happened to them, it didn't work out. They got burned, they got frustrated, and they just settled in. It's like they got beat down into submission. They say like the tall poppies, right? The tallest poppy gets cut down. We're really good at doing that to each other, even within our own profession. And they might even see something in you that makes them jealous that they're not pursuing that anymore, and it frustrates them. So keep that in mind whenever people talk to you about this stuff, because for you, like, you could go that route. You could say, I submit, I give in. Maybe, hey, it is what it is. You got to take care of people and you have responsibilities with your family. But for me, I know I couldn't do that and I would be miserable because the things that I do on a day-to-day basis, I want to be able to enjoy those things. I want to be able to learn and grow and try to become world-class at something. And if you want to work with a certain type of patient and be amazing at that and work with those people and really you thrive in that environment, then you may have no other choice but to actually go out and do your own thing. The nice thing is, if you've done a lot of this work on the front end, then you are probably a really good clinician when it comes to working with a specific niche. And one of the big check the boxes for us, anytime that we see somebody that wants to do their own thing and start their own practice, in particular a cash practice that's just significantly less upfront cost and overhead and simplicity in the business model, is does this person have a defined niche, and are they really good at working with those people? Because if they don't, and they're not really good at working with anybody, and they don't have a defined niche, they're going to struggle because they do not have a strong skill set to help a certain group of people get better. If you already have that, then what you need to learn is the business side to bolt onto that so that you can have success and work with the people that you want to work with. And you can make that look at like whatever you want. It could be as simple as a lifestyle business where you just work with people on your own. You never hire another clinician. Maybe you have an admin that helps you with some stuff, but you just focus on working with ACLs, and that's it. And that's all you do. And you're probably happy as hell doing that. Love it. Some of you, maybe what you're going to end up doing is growing past yourself. And you have a little cohort of other clinicians that you save from these clinics that are frustrated as well, and you let them work with ACL patients and love what they're doing as well. And you have this great little culture and ecosystem within your business if that's what you want to do. Either way, it starts by trying to get that love for the profession back. Try to find a place where you can have an entrepreneurship, say over what you do, help build out a niche. And then if you can't, then you might have to take a hard look in the mirror at yourself and say, man, do I just want to lay down and just get through the day so I can go home and do other things that I like to do, and this is just a job for me? Or am I going to go out on my own, and am I going to create the job of my dreams? Because if you can't find it, you might have to create it. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any interest in what we're doing, helping people grow on the business side with cash and hybrid practices, head to physicaltherapybiz.com, check us out, check out our team and see what we help people with. I will catch you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching Caffeine and Cash Practices.